All right, welcome in to our very first Patriots training camp cast of 2024. It's Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo. Paul, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's nice for you to come on the show
on
here.
your little camp cast.
Guess what is this, year 5
24
or 6
for me, but 26 overall. I think it's 24th doing a camp cast.
Well, here we are, and we got going today with the Patriots on the field, kind of a light practice, hour and a half session, Paul. A little shorter than we're kind of used to here.
Yeah, and Drake Maye talked a little bit about that on Tuesday, that he might fluctuate some of these times, and I think that the sort of the ramp up time, I think they have some work that they probably want to get done, a set amount of execution they want to see. I think these first couple of practices will be a little shorter, and then they'll gradually ramp it up. And I did think it was interesting, before practice started today, they're eligible to be in pads after 5 days. So that would be Monday. Gerard sort of indicated it might be around this time next week. So maybe, a little bit later than that, when they were in full pads for the first time. But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, we are a little bit, but, not the most competitive practice as you might assume on day one, kind of a continuation of OTAs and minicamp, but still some guys that showed up, a couple good plays. And I want to start with Jalen Reagor, who had really nice one-handed catch down the field, had another catch later in practice. Was kind of productive in OTAs too. Not a guy that's on the top of everyone's mind, but a guy that's just continuing to show up here in the offseason.
Yeah, I feel like they have a lot of very similar kind of players. Not necessarily in skill set, because I think Reagor is a little bit longer and faster than most of the other guys, but they have a lot of sort of middling kind of receivers. I think Reagor has certainly done a nice job of separating himself from the pack in that regard. I thought Juju Smith-Schuster also showed up a little bit today with that nice deep crosser. All of these passes we should add from Drake Maye. So I thought that was a good sign to sort of see him get the ball downfield a little bit and the athleticism on display a little bit. But you're right. I don't want to get anybody excited. Not overly competitive, in shorts and helmets today.
Yeah, so, a couple housekeeping notes, because you're obviously trying to read between the lines a little bit. Just some highlights. For me, Kyle Duggar coming up with a tip ball interception. He continues to kind of be around the ball. That's kind of a Kyle Duggar play, not necessarily him jumping the route, but Johnny on the spot, right place, right time.
That's exactly what your boy, Jabril Pepper, said after practice. I don't know how he do it. He's just always where he's supposed to be. And the defensive backs have a pretty friendly competition with those kinds of plays. So he was a little upset that he's already behind. But, it was really nice. The play was actually made by Jonathan Jones. Good trail coverage, got the hand in front of the intended target. Ball goes in the air and right to Kyle Duggar. That was from Brissett. Probably a pass that Brissett was a little late with.
Mm-hmm.
The timing not expected to be at regular season pace on the first day of camp. But, good to see Duggar around the ball as usual.
Little housekeeping. We saw a lot of Michael Onwenu continues to be at right guard. The line is a big concern for Patriots fans, wanting to know how that's all going to shake out. We saw, they're working on the run game a little bit. They're more in the middle of the field, not the red zone, Paul, like we've been used to. I mean, we used to, those old Patriots practices, it felt like, hey, we're right in the red zone right away. Opening it up maybe a little bit. We were speculating, just allowing the offense maybe to connect on some plays. But I thought it was fine today. There was, Reagor made a couple catches, but overall it felt like the first day of camp, they're feeling it out. There's not really a lot of fireworks to write home about.
Yeah, and we should say it went Brissett, May, Zappi, Milton, and that was pretty much the rotation that we ended the spring with. That continued today. And you're right. I do think I didn't even know what to do with myself, not starting in the red zone, because I'm just it's so ingrained in my mind if that's the way that Bill always did it. They started at the 20 or 30, early down, a lot of early down work. And you saw what they want to do. You saw that the Alex Van Pelt offense wants to be that sort of zone stretch kind of plays where it's extended handoffs, hard play action, boots off of that. That's how they're looking to get explosive plays. So some of those things you started to see the seeds get planted today a little bit, and it was different not being in the red zone.
Yeah, all right, well, new season, new studio, new head coach, new quarterback. A lot of newness going on here, Paul, but we're just getting started.
So real quick, just to continue, the attendance was really good today. The Patriots placed 5 guys on lists, 4 on PUP, and that would be Cole Strange, Kendrick Bourne, Jake Andrews, and Sione Takitaki. Those 4 players did not practice today. They're on PUP, and Antonio Gibson starts on the non-football injury list, NFI. So other than that, the other 85 players were out there and accounted for. We did see Matthew Judon, we did see Devon Gottschall, and we did see them taking part in some of the 11-on-11 stuff that they did. And that, to me, was a little different than last year with Judon specifically, who was obviously upset with his contract at this time a year ago and sort of chose to the hold-in kind of thing. We didn't see any signs of that today. We'll see what happens next week when the pads are on.
Yeah, Pop Douglas seeming to do a little bit of rehab work maybe too. Wasn't heavily involved, just something to keep an eye on. But that's going to do it for us for day one here, Patriots Training Camp Cast. Of course, what do we got? 12 more practices to go, so we're just getting started here. We hope you guys will stick with us all through this summer as we take you through Patriots Training Camp 2024.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.